Am I wrong for calling the bride a slut at the wedding reception? Oh shit. I, 22 female, went to a wedding recently for my friend's 22 female cousin. My friend brought me along for emotional support since she was being forced to go. My friend didn't like her cousin at all because, simply put, the cousin is horrible to my friend. She would make fun of my friend's appearance, which included anything from weight, hair, skin, etc., despite my friend being drop dead gorgeous. This has led to her having major self-esteem issues. On top of that, there was a 10-year age gap between my friend and her cousin, 32 female, meaning it was literally at one point an adult bullying a child. Friend's cousin is also just an awful person in general, the quintessential racist, but I have black friends, mean girl who gossips and fights with everyone. However, my friend's parents believe that family is forever no matter what, so she was dragged to the wedding, meaning I got dragged along as well. The ceremony happened and we moved to the reception. Everything was going surprisingly smoothly until I started dancing with one of the groomsmen on the dance floor. Bride didn't like this apparently. I know because she came up to me and asked me what the hell I thought I was doing. I was confused and asked her what she meant. She asked me why the hell was I all over him meaning the groomsman. I didn't know why she was upset about it. After all, she had a new husband that she should be celebrating with. My friend intervened after she noticed the bride talking to me angrily. The bride turned to my friend and asked her why she brought this slut to her wedding. I wasn't too surprised given the stories I've heard about her, but nevertheless, that still stung. My friend told her to back off and not to say that to me. Bride said that I was indeed a slut for dancing with the groomsman. My friend explained to me that the groomsman that I was dancing with was her ex-boyfriend. I turned to the bride and told her that she just got married to another man, so it wasn't like she wanted her ex back. Why would you be okay with one of your husband's groomsmen being your ex? Why was the guy even okay with it? That's weird AF. She then told me that the chances are still high and that I have no right to put my hands on him. I laughed and said, "Oh, so you're the one that's actually a slut." Bride lost it, screaming at me, cursing at me, crying while her husband was trying to escort her away, and all the while I was laughing my ass off. I had a few drinks then. My friend had escorted me back away to our table. Now that the alcohol has worn off, as much as I hate her, I feel like I may be the asshole for saying that to the bride at the reception. According to my friend, she has been getting calls and texts from angry family members asking the both of us how we could ruin the bride's big day. So, am I the asshole? Am I wrong for not letting my dad's wife name or see my baby? I'm 25 and pregnant. My dad got remarried when I was 17. Me and her never got along. She always pushed me and she wanted me to call her mom and then got mad when I didn't. She got mad that my dad was choosing me over her because we would go out together, just me and him. She went through my text messages, got mad at me for talking to my boyfriend about my depression and how I was feeling and not to her. She tried to take the stuff that I paid for away, my phone, car, etc. Tried to make me babysit her kids multiple times, even on my prom night. She tried to make me lose weight by fasting for a week straight. I'm a healthy weight, always was and still am, but that has always been monitored by a doctor due to health issues then and now. Me and my dad still talk, just not as much. He wanted to meet for brunch, so I said yes, unaware that he was bringing her. When they came in, we talked for a bit casually with my husband there too, until we got into the topic of my pregnancy. She asked me all kinds of questions until she gets to names. She told me that I was going to name the baby Amy, her daughter's name. I politely said no and said we already had a few names in mind. She started saying why she wasn't allowed to name her grandchild and she thought that she would get that right, and I told her it's our right. That was another issue. She kept saying that I was taking away her right as a grandparent and that I've always been such a bitch to her for no reason, and she knew that I never accepted her as a mother from the beginning, but I'm a bad parent if I'm going to project that onto my kid. However, this is when I stopped everything and told her she's not allowed around my kid ever. She kept pushing it, saying that she always knew I was a brat, but to be this bitter to someone who only helped her is absurd. I said that she can think that all she wants, but I'm going to be naming our child whatever we decide, and that name won't be it. Then she decided to try to hit close to home, saying that I was going to be a horrible mother. I'm already not taking care of myself. I look like shit. I'm already eating too much and probably killing the baby with how much I eat. And I just keep adding to how much of a self-centered person I am by taking away her bonding with her grandchild. Whoa, that hit me hard. But I was through. I told her she's not going to be seeing my child ever when she's born since she wanted to push her luck. Before I could say more, my husband grabbed our stuff and we left. I've never ever gotten so many messages from so many different people in my life. Multiple people are telling me that she was wrong, but I know how she can get, but I shouldn't deny her her grandbaby. Others are saying I'm an asshole and my father is on her side too. I honestly think I'm 100% in the right. It could be self-absorbed of me to say, but I do. But everyone else besides my husband thinks I'm a raging bitch. So, am I the asshole? I do understand people's obsession with naming other people's kids. If you want to name someone's kid, have your own. You can give an opinion like, hey, what do you think of this name? But you can't be pissed off when someone doesn't decide to pick your basic ass name like Amy. Sorry to all the Amy's out there. Don't take offense. But you're not her mom. You're no one to her. She's shown this insignificance you've played in her life. Why would you ever think you had a say in what her child would be named?
I'm full of regrets believing that my husband cheated on me when he didn't. Cheating is something that I've always had strong opinions about. Ben cheated on before and it sucked. Everyone knows that I don't forgive cheaters. So when my sister-in-law, my husband's sister, staged an elaborate scheme about my husband cheating, I ended the relationship. My relationship, unfortunately, wasn't the only one that was affected. My sister-in-law, Lisa, 32, her best friend, Emma, 32, and my husband, Jamie, 29, were best friends growing up. Emma got married when she was just 20. Her husband was abusive. She had 2 children with him. She got divorced 10 years later, and she was finally free from his abuse. She suffered a lot, however, and probably still is, in therapy, her and her children. I, 30, met Jamie 4 years ago. We got married 2 years later. Everything was just awesome. What I didn't know was that Emma wanted Jamie, and Lisa made it her mission when Emma finally got divorced to bring her brother and best friend together. I didn't know any of this, so I never knew there was a hidden agenda. When I, a few months into my marriage, overheard Lisa talking about how Jamie was cheating on me with a married colleague of his. In hindsight, I can tell it was staged because she was saying unnecessary details and was very loud. She meant for me to hear it. I confronted her then and there, and she played very flustered and apologized and begged me not to ruin my marriage. She told me Jamie loved me and she never wanted to lose me as a sister. But at the same time, she provided me with pictures and texts. They were all photoshopped of my husband and his colleague. She begged me not to mention where I found out, and I was grateful for her support and promised her not to expose her as the source. I confronted my husband with everything, and he adamantly refused to admit anything. It hurt me more that he never admitted nor apologized, ever. He asked me where I got this from, but I kept my promise and told him it was an anonymous tip. I also went so far that I contacted the colleague's husband. At the time, I thought it was the right thing to do. The colleague is this very beautiful woman that my husband worked very closely with many hours a day. I was a bit jealous of that, and I confided my fears with Lisa. She used it against me. I asked for a divorce, and the colleague's husband did too. After that, Lisa, who I thought was my friend, who called me her sister, disappeared from my life, like I never existed. Even when I bumped into her, she was short with me and indifferent. Months went by, and I was still heartbroken, processing the separation. My husband stopped trying to make me see reason and agreed to divorce. He said he wanted to move on. I started having doubts. Why is Lisa doing this now? She was my friend and wanted the best for me, yet now shouldn't even answer my texts. I follow both her and Emma on Instagram, and I started seeing how Emma and my husband gradually started hanging out. At least once a week, Emma or Lisa shared stories about my husband with Emma and her children. What I did next is very questionable, and yet I don't regret it at all. I was desperate, and I needed the truth. I was still very good friends with Lisa's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Mike's sister. I told her my doubts and everything. I told her that Lisa was my source, that my husband was cheating, and that I'm starting to doubt everything, and that I needed their help to unearth the truth. Mike was easier to persuade to help me than I expected. He had Lisa's passcode, and he went through her messages with Emma, and there was everything. They have plotted everything. They used my idiocy and insecurity and made me throw the best thing that ever happened to me away. He sent me all the proof I needed, even the original photos they used to Photoshop my husband with his colleague. My world was turned upside down again, and I went into a deeper depression. I stayed in bed, called in sick for 2 weeks. I have not ruined only my life, but also another family. I don't know why I'm writing here, if I want advice or just to vent. I don't blame anyone but my stupidity for ruining my marriage. I should have trusted my husband and the love he's shown me. I should have been honest with him about everything and where I got the news that he was cheating from. I should have not gone to hurt the colleague and her family just because I thought her beautiful. She has since quit her job and moved, but I still had her husband's contact info. I had to at least apologize. We met and I told him everything. He was so angry with me. He was crying and yelling at me, and all I could think was that I deserved every insult he threw my way. I found the colleague on Instagram and DM'd her everything and a long apology. She didn't answer me. I don't know if I should tell my husband too. I know I don't deserve him at all, and I know that he doesn't want me anymore, but maybe he should just know what Emma is doing and what she's capable of doing. He deserves to know the truth. Maybe I could start with reassuring him that I'm not trying to win him back. I'm just trying to help him understand and apologize. I need to apologize for everything. I don't know.
I'm the asshole for calling my husband insane for missing my dad's funeral just because he did not want me to wear high heels. My dad passed away 2 weeks ago, but before the funeral, He asked if I was going to wear high heels. I said yes because the high heels that I have are the only pairs of shoes that I have with black to fit my outfit. He tried to get me to wear other shoes, but I refused and gave him an explanation above. He ranted about how he was worried about people seeing him with me and me looking so much taller than him. And he's given this rant 1,000 times before. I used to suck it up before this, but this time I said no. He said he would not attend the funeral then if I was going to be wearing heels. I was shocked to say the least, and I called him insane for missing a funeral over such a small reason, especially since it's my father's funeral. But he seemed so upset and said I was insane one for refusing to compromise to make it work. We had a huge fight and he ended up not going. We're not talking to each other now, and a lot of his family thinks I was stubborn and should have compromised if I really wanted him there. Keep in mind that this is my father's funeral and he did not want to go over me wearing high heels.